Welcome to GooPhone Station Indie Game News. I'm your host, Steven SnakeYukin Lindsey, and this is some of the latest happenings in the indie game world. Super Meat Boy adds Super Meat World. Now, if you have the Steam version of Super Meat Boy, then you probably noticed that a few days ago there was an update to your game. Now that adds a new world called Super Meat World, and that world is located just left of Chapter 1. Though you do have to have 20 bandages to get there, I have a feeling that most people that have it on Steam probably have 20 bandages by now. Also, this adds 8 chapters to your game and 140 levels overall. As for other Super Meat Boy related news, the level editor will be coming soon for a public beta, and also the Ultra Edition of the game is currently available to buy on Amazon, and it's available in certain select Walmarts. GooPhone Coming. The iPhone version of World of Goo has been submitted to the App Store and is just waiting approval, which 2D Boy said should be soonest, maybe even whenever this video is finally coming out. Now, the price of the game is slated to be $2.99, but if you're able to get the game within the first 24 hours, it'll only be 99 cents, so if you don't want to spend a lot of money, that's the time to get it. Now, if you did buy the iPad version of the game, 2D Boy seems to be indicating that you'll get the iPhone version of it for free. Also, the game will only work on iPhone 3GS and up, or 3rd generation iPod Touches or newer. Process Trailer. Process is an upcoming adventure game that is set to be set in a series of subway trains. Now, the game itself takes place 20 minutes prior to one of those trains derailing and causing a catastrophic crash. And as it's a catastrophic crash, I'm going to assume that lots of virtual lives will be lost. Now, those 20 minutes that I mentioned are supposedly supposed to be 20 actual, real life, real time, real world minutes to stop that train. Now, the trailer itself, to some of you, might be a little lacking as it doesn't show any real gameplay at all. But the game appears to look very nice, and also the premise has got my attention. So if you're looking forward to the game, it is going to be freeware, and it will be released this summer. TigSource vs. Competition winners. Not that long ago, maybe a month or two ago, we told you about TigSource vs. Competition, which involved a competition of about 80 plus games were submitted, involving it being a game based around the premise of versus. Now, the votes have finally been cast and counted, and the winners are... Tied for number 5 is Kaya Loves Mushrooms and On Guard, both with 9 votes. Number 4 with 11 votes, Brigands. Number 3 with 21 votes, Jesus vs. Dinosaurs. Number 2 with 39 votes, Majin. And the grand prize winner with 50 votes, Zero Space. Congratulations to all the winners, and I really wish I had someone to play some of these games with. 101 free games for 2011 so far. Now, 1UP has been creating a list of some of the best free games in a year for several years now. Recently, they released a list for this year's best free games so far into the year. Now, they divided the entries in games into 9 different categories: strategy, adventure, RPG, platformer, puzzle, shoot 'em up, WTF, my favorite area, action arcade, and FPS. So if you're looking for some free games to play in your free time, then go over and check out the list. The Great Gatsby the Game soundtrack. Now, if you watched our Browser Games of the Week video, you probably heard us mention this game once upon a time, a month or two ago. Now, the soundtrack of the game has recently been released for free. And this game's soundtrack contains 12 tracks, and the overall runtime of it's about 11 minutes. Now, supposedly, this game's soundtrack has influences from Billie Holiday's early tune in It's Like Reaching for the Moon, Chopin's Nocturne, and several classic NES music. National STEM Video Game Challenge winner. Last year, President Barack Obama challenged game developers to make a game to interest the youth in math and science because supposedly they're not interested in it like they used to be. Now, recently the winner was announced, and that game was You Make Me Sick by Filament Games, and for winning they received $50,000. Now for the game itself, you choose from one of several viruses that you would like to control and play as, including E. coli, TB, and influenza. Also, depending on which game mode you choose, you can customize your own virus. And of course, customizing your virus should be based upon who you're going to infect. Now, whenever you start the game, you need to put your virus on something in the environment that'll work for your virus or bacteria, such as near a vent for airborne viruses or near a window. Now, there are several different minigames in this game that you'll play to help spread your virus to your host. And of course, before I forget, congratulations to the dads over at Filament Games for winning this challenge. Streets of Rage Remake Final Version. After nearly 8 years of development, I can't imagine spending that much time on a remake. This fan-made remake has finally reached its final version for everyone out there to play. Now, I gotta admit, I never played Streets of Rage back in the day. I was more of a Final Fight, Double Dragon, and Battletoads person. But it does have that feeling of all those old classic brawlers that I did play. The game itself features 19 characters to play as, which several of those have to be unlocked or bought, and those characters span from all the games in the series. Now, the game features 103 stages, 64 enemies, 76 songs, which several of those are remixed or remastered from the original, and much, much more. And to top it all off, this is free. So what are you waiting for? Go and get this game. It's free. You should play it. We'll wait. And we're assuming that you started the download and you can watch our little video again. Jerry McPartlin Episode 1 Trailer. Do you remember a time when rock and roll was king in the 50s? And when all the young people were listening to it and all the old people thought it was the music of the devil? Well, I sure do. Jerry McPartlin takes place in that magical time and puts you in the shoes of a wannabe rock and roll star and someone who directly looks like they were ripped from Grease, trying to imitate the Fonz, maybe slightly kind of trying to pull off an Elvis. Anyways, this character is named Jerry McPartlin. After his brother Bobby, the archaeologist, hobbyist, and pilot returns, strange things begin happening that change Jerry's life forever. Anyways, the developers are currently looking for some funding to help out their game, which you can help out by going over to 8-bit funding. Now, if you're worried the game won't be made if they don't reach their goal, don't worry. They've already said that they will make the game even if they don't reach their goal. This is just simply helping them to afford things a lot easier. Hawker first-person gameplay. My god. How have I not talked about this game before? It's just so pretty. Anyway, seriously, this is a multiplayer mech combat game. Currently there is no release date or platform plan for this game to be out on, though it is looking at a PS3, 360, and/or PC release. Now, let's see some more of that pretty game in action. Minitroid tech demo release. Now, I believe several people have been talking about this Metroid fan game, so you may have heard about it by now. But if you haven't, this is a Metroid fan game that uses their own original graphics, so no sprite rips here. Also, it does retain that Metroid feel to it. Now, again, this is just a tech demo, so it really isn't completely finished, so there's still new things that can be added, tweaked, and all that. You can download it from the link that we provided below if you're interested. Tobe's vertical adventure in Hookshot Escape. Now, this is being brought to us from the same people that brought us Bytejacker, which we recommended in our Browser Games of the Week video. Now, Tobe's vertical adventure was originally released on XBLIG, and of course they're now trying to polish up the game for a PC release, and right now they're looking for a host for their game. Now, if you don't know, the game was a retro platformer with 2 players to choose from, 16 levels, and supposedly hours upon hours of gameplay. Now, a new game in the Tobe IP is coming out called Tobe's Hookshot Escape. Now, this game will be an endless ascension game revolving around Tobe using a hookshot. The game is to sport 20 challenge achievements as well as leaderboard support. Now, this game will be coming out on Flash and Windows Phone 7 sometime in the future. And this week we're going to end with the launch trailer for a very bloody, very action-packed, very sequel to a very bloody, very action-packed game involving a dishwasher. Anyways, that game comes out today on XBLA, and it's going for 800 Microsoft points, or, you know, 10 real-world dollars. But before we get to that launch trailer, let me remind you that each and every Wednesday we have a new video in our Gamer Station Indie Game News videos, and on Sundays we have our Browser Games of the Week videos, which is where we point out some of the better browser games for the week. So without further ado, here's the launch trailer for the Dishwasher Vampire Smile.